And welcome. This is Interesting to See, your daily sports podcast, news, narratives, takes, gambling, fantasy preview this week. What? That's so exciting. No clip for you today. I didn't include baseball highlights because I guess I could have. Could have done some Angels highlights. They fell apart yesterday, which is hilarious. Huge baseball show today. We're also going to get some football stuff for you. College football Reddit. The Mountain West has an amazing accomplishment that they celebrated yesterday. So we're going to start with baseball. The New York Yankees, remember it's the Subway Series? Well, they suck now, and nobody knows why. So they went on this road trip for 9 games, and they lost 7 of them. That's bad, okay? That's more than 70%, okay? They got shut out. Again, apparently like 3 or 4 of these losses have been shutouts, and nobody knows what's happening. To the point now where Yankees fans who were gloating, the Wall Street Journal sent me a notification on my phone earlier this year that says the Yankees are back. That's good for baseball and bad for you, or something douchey like that. And now they suck ass. And it is absolutely hysterical. I love whatever's happening to them. And if we look at the standings, they were so far ahead of everybody. They were one of the best teams in pro baseball. They're still ahead of everybody. They're going to win their division. But they're human. Uh-oh. Other baseball news yesterday. Well, this is not news. Like here, like I'll show you the clip. Look. Who the hell's 48? Is that DJ LeMahieu? I have no idea. Don't care. But pow, pow, hitting the helmet. Pow, pow, pow. Hilarious. Other baseball news yesterday. The White Sox seem like they're going to make a push for the wild card, the AL Central, which looked like trash. Looks good now. 3 teams over 500, the Royals and the Tigers. If they combined forces, would still suck ass. But the White Sox are in 3rd place in the AL Central. I believe the Cleveland Guardians are in 2nd place, and I believe the Minnesota Twins are in 1st place. Johnny Cueto was asked that, how did you guys beat the Astros? They're so good. And Johnny, he said, what we all say, like every time we play video games, every time we're in fantasy football, basically anytime we're in a fight with our significant other, he said this.
Fuck it, let's keep competing.
Wait, one more time?
Fuck it, let's keep competing.
I mean, that's a good policy.
Fuck it, let's keep competing. Fuck it, let's
I'm just going to keep playing it. That would be a great ringtone for him, like if you called his friend's phone. So the White Sox yesterday, Tony La Russa, pinch run for someone late in the game. But what was really interesting is that in the crowd, this guy was telling him, he was screaming. And these crowds, it feels like when you're at a professional sporting event that the pro athletes can't hear you. No, they totally can. They ignore you often. But sometimes when you're really close and you're like just chill about it, they'll listen to you. So here's a guy telling La Russa what to do. Hey, Tony. Tony. Get Angle in there. He's yelling at him, so he looks like he's making eye contact with him. And then Tony's going to call timeout. And then he's going to get the pinch runner.
Timeout. Oh, he's going to pinch run.
Oh, man. Baseball's so fun if your team's good. Baseball season is great if your team's good. If your team sucks, man, it sucks. Let's watch the Angels, who were winning a game for the first time in their lives. They had a significant meltdown yesterday. I do have this clip. Let's watch it.
Pitch to Julio.
Line drive was knocked down. Play at the plate. Then again,
okay, so good play, but there's no one covering home, and then they lost everybody. Oh my God!
How about that? How about that?
The pitcher was just watching the game and not covering home plate. Watch. So this is a good teaching moment for you kids out there. See, here comes the catcher. He's like running back to third, done. The pitcher's like, "What's up?" I don't know. What do I do? And the catcher's like, I don't know anything. What am I supposed to do? It would have been better if everybody was just safe. He's like, let's get this motherfucker out. And the runner's like, yeah. No. And the first baseman's like, hey, pitcher, dumbass. I have no idea who was pitching, but that guy sucks. It's not funny. It's not funny to be bad at your job. It really isn't. One more baseball clip to give to you yesterday. The Tigers are so bad. They signed Javier Baez for $1 billion. He plays shortstop. He's really good at hitting a couple home runs and striking out a lot. He swings. He's just too aggressive. When he makes contact, it's bananas. Yesterday, he hit a pitch and popped it out that bounced off of the ground. See how low that is? And he just like pops it up. But then upon further review, this man tennised this baseball. Look at Badoink, man. That is more embarrassing than missing on it, I think, because missing on it is like a thing that happens in baseball. I mean, in all seriousness, he hit it kind of far. Let's move to football. Jimmy Garoppolo. This is great. I love The Athletic and other. So what happens is in sports reporting, you have these inside sources and you know stuff, but then you keep your mouth shut because if you snitch on these people, they won't tell you anything anymore. It's called burning your sources. In the real world, the sources are like things like voter fraud and crime and murder and things like that. And you're just like trying to tell the story without burning your sources so you don't scare people away. In sports, because it's not real journalism, they don't really care about burning you once you're irrelevant to them. So you're not going to burn Jimmy Garoppolo or the team when they need to work together, because then if you do that, then the team's going to be pissed at you and they're going to be like, hey, you told everybody. We would rather you not tell them. Now we're not going to tell you anything, right? But then when they leave, The Athletic figured this out. Like they were like, fuck it, let's just snitch on everybody. And that's why you get those really cool Athletic articles about things like the Eagles organization being a disaster and Carson Wentz and stuff like that. We're getting that from Jimmy G now, who reportedly is on the trade market and has been all year. He has not shown up to Niners camp. They don't want him there. They're going with Trey Lance. They haven't found a trade partner. No one knows what's happening with him. Now the San Francisco Chronicle is snitching, and they are saying that Jimmy G didn't talk to people after he got his money. When the news conference ended, Garoppolo shook hands, flashed his multi-million-dollar smile, and disappeared into the off-season ether. Yeah, that's kind of a douchey sentence. That important work, to his coach's chagrin, would have to wait. Once he left that press conference, nobody heard from him for weeks and weeks, recalled a member of the coaching staff. He didn't return calls. He didn't return texts. He basically just vanished. And we were looking at each other going, what just happened? Jimmy G vanishing act, which would become a staple of subsequent off-seasons, last year's glaring exception, is worth pondering as we prepare to dive into the Trey Lance era, beginning with Friday's preseason game, blah, 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 blah. So they're snitching. They're saying, hey, Jimmy, why you no practice? No one cares about this. No one cares. He didn't go because he didn't want to. There's not a lot more to it than that. It doesn't really matter. Yesterday, the Associated Press released its top 10 or top 25 college football poll. And get this, a bunch of teams that are playing each other in the first couple weeks are all ranked. What? No. That would be crazy. If they were ranked and they were playing each other, like, you know what would be really helpful is when Notre Dame and Ohio State played each other, they were both in the top 5. That would be like so helpful. Could you imagine if they were both in the top 5? I mean, like, it'd be it's one of the biggest games of the year. Nobody has any idea if they're actually going to be good, but they're definitely in the top 5. Opening week is going to be okay. Like Georgia and Oregon, that's almost 2 top 10 teams. We got Cincinnati and Arkansas. They're both ranked. Wow, crazy. Number 1 team in the country is Alabama. Some Ohio State and Georgia love in there too. Everything else doesn't matter. But what does matter, what matters a lot, I want to shout out the Mountain West Conference. They tweeted this. Same as the Big 12, same as the Pac-12. AP poll, 5 teams in the top 44. So the top third. Holy shit. That's something else. So the Mountain West's 5 teams in the top 44 are Air Force, Boise State, Fresno State, San Diego State, and Utah State. At a certain point, someone votes for one of them at 25 and they get a point and then they're in. Who is the last one? Let's see the vote getter. I haven't investigated this thoroughly enough. I could, I suppose, but who cares? Google, when I say AP Top 25 poll, I want the Associated Press, not ESPN. How much do you think they have to pay to be number 1 when people Google that? My guess is an ass ton. So are there any Mountain West Conference teams ranked? Yes. Wait. No. There are no Mountain West Conference teams ranked. However, Fresno State did receive 32 points. Air Force received 4 points. And Utah State got 2 points. That's 1 more point than Nebraska's. But San Diego State also got 2 points. The same amount as UCLA and South Carolina. And they are big schools. Boise State got 5 points. 32 points for Fresno State. That's pretty impressive. I will say that it's far more likely that those teams are better than Wake Forest. And BYU is ranked. Are they still a Mountain West team? technically. Same as the Pac-12 and the Big 12. That is true. I will, like, their point there is well taken. That's a good point because those conferences blow. They are bad. I'm going to get you out of here on this. This is really, really cool situation. There's this guy, good reporting by the Wall Street Journal today. I would link to it in the show notes, but you can Google it. His name is Stephen Alker, and he's one of those guys. He's sort of like a rock star that's trying to be a rock star. He's trying to be a professional golfer, and he made it to all of the B tours, like the minor leagues, and there are minor league golf tours. Like, how is that? Like, yeah, it does suck. You have to be like a club pro, and then you got to figure out, like, it's called the Corn Ferry Tour, and there are European tours and Canadian tours and Australian tours, and none of these things are good, right? If you were good, you'd be in the PGA, and now, like, there's LIV and all of that, but this guy's not quite good enough to be there. He's good enough to rub shoulders with those guys. He's good enough for a cup of coffee in the PGA. He's not good enough to be one of the guys who earns a living on it. But then he turned 50, which means he qualifies for the senior tour, and now he's the Tiger Woods of the senior tour, which is a really fun, interesting story. He's from New Zealand. He has, since last year, earned $3 million on the Champions Tour, which is the old man's tour. I officially know how I'm going to retire. I have 18 years to get good enough at golf to be a pro at 50 and then retire, playing golf, traveling the country, world, country, whatever. Really cool story. Never give up, and maybe you catch a break from the government or your employer, and you get to be an old man. You get to do what you love. Rewarded for persevering this whole time. He says he feels better than he did at 18. I don't know about that, but I bet $3.5 million in the bank don't hurt. Interesting to see. He'll be back and better than ever tomorrow morning. Like, rate, review, subscribe. Fantasy football preview coming up on Thursday. Or maybe we'll do it tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. See you then.